I realized that having a child, because nobody trains you for it and not a lot of people talk about it, or because if you're not a parent, other parents don't really have those conversations with you, it's just hard to even be able to grasp what this experience is like. This Western culture, we grow up chasing our goals and our dreams and who do we want to be. And because that's how I chose to figure out who I am as a person when I had a baby, those two things sort of clashed. Hello, my name is Pang. I'm a full-time mom and a part-time freelance video editor. And welcome to After the Baby Sleeps. After the Baby Sleeps is going to be focused on conversations that I have with you after my baby falls asleep during a nap or after they fall asleep for the night. Ever since becoming a parent, I think about a lot of things, but being a full-time mom and also trying to stay creative, I definitely think I keep a lot in my own head. So this is kind of where I'm creating a space for me to share my thoughts and try to create a community. So I can also see what other parents are experiencing or other mothers are experiencing. So today I wanted to touch on my experience of becoming a mom and how I lost myself a little bit. I went through losing my identity. I also wanted to share with you what were some ways that helped me slowly find little bits of myself again, and what I would recommend for other parents who might be experiencing the same thing to try. At the very end, I also wanted to share with you an exciting project that I'm planning to also release after this episode. So stay tuned and continue watching. And I can't wait to hear what you all think and what other parents are experiencing. So becoming a mom, just like everybody else said, it was very similar to what I had heard other parents say. You bring your baby home, there's no manual, right? But I think what I was most shocked by is just the biggest difference between my role and my partner's role. Just how mom sleeps versus how dad sleeps, right? When the baby's crying, and how my body reacts to the baby's cries compared to my husband's body and how he reacts to the baby's cries. I think that was like one of the biggest shock for me. Just something that I didn't even know how to prepare for that. I would say my first 3 months was really hard to not stress when my baby started to cry. I noticed that if I gave my baby to my husband and the baby would start crying, I could feel this tension all inside my body, the stress of just my baby needs me. And I wasn't expecting that. That connection between mom and baby is definitely really strong, at least for this experience for me. And it was hard. It was hard to fully understand everything, and I'm still trying to understand everything. But obviously as time goes on, things get easier, and me having a lot of conversations with my partner helped me understand what was going on in their head, and for them to understand what was going on in my head as well as what was going on in my body. I only breastfed up to a certain point in time because I started noticing my mental health was being impacted negatively. And that was one of the decisions that I made, was to end breastfeeding when I felt like the time was necessary. I would say the other thing about becoming a mom that was a lot more challenging than I could even imagine, because the whole experience of becoming a parent is just, you can't really imagine what it's like. You just have to experience it and like somehow be prepared for it. But definitely the priorities of what needs to be right in front of me in my life, my baby became the most important thing in my life. And I believe that that plays a role in how my identity struggled, because I decided to be the main caretaker for a baby. We couldn't afford childcare, and before baby was even born, my partner and I agreed that I would stay home full-time and work part-time. And I knew that being a full-time stay-at-home mom was what I would want to do. And I also know how I am in general as a person creatively. And I knew that I would need something along with taking care of my baby. So that's why we went in the direction that we went in. But in addition to that, childcare is just extremely expensive, and to try to even enroll our child in childcare wasn't even an option because of the cost. So I took 6 weeks off with my child to focus on raising them, and then I started freelancing again. My first project, my brain, I could not think. My brain was so foggy. I think I sat at my computer for about 30 minutes and I could not create. Obviously, the whole experience with giving birth was a lot for the body and the brain, and then learning my child and how to care for them and the sleep deprivation. I'm sure all of that played a role in just my mind creatively. My priorities shifted, right? Like, I was spending 6 weeks night and day just taking care of my child. So when my first project came in, I didn't realize how big of a shift my brain had made. I just started to notice more and more things happening in my life of just my body was recovering and accepting that it will never be the same body. And it's like I remember thinking about that before becoming pregnant and before wanting to try, but to actually experience it was a lot. I remember doing my first couple of workouts and I could not move like how I used to. While I was pregnant, I wasn't able to work out as much. It would give me a lot of migraines and it just didn't work with my body. But after baby was born, I knew that I wanted to try to get back into shape, and just seeing how my body would react to the workouts that I was doing and how hard it was to move my body. Like, my brain would be moving like 3 times faster than my body. That was new to me. That was just such a different experience. Another thing I would notice was my husband would come home from work and just tell me about his day, who he interacted with, what he learned, while my days were just continuing to kind of be a repeat. I mean, I would say the highlights of my day were my baby's milestones, and that's what I would share. But I started noticing the difference between my partner's life and my life, and they were both, it just felt like one was moving at a faster speed than the other, and that was also contributing to my identity, like me feeling like I didn't really know who I was anymore. And I again continued to try to figure that out, right? I don't know exactly when it completely hit me, but I was choosing to sacrifice my career to raise our child. But I didn't realize that watching my partner's career grow or their life grow would make me feel less than, or like I wasn't as important. I realized that having a child, because nobody trains you for it and not a lot of people talk about it, or because if you're not a parent, other parents don't really have those conversations with you, it's just hard to even be able to grasp what this experience is like. In this Western culture, we grow up chasing our goals and our dreams, and who do we want to be, and how do we want to give back to this world, and what do we want to create, all these, what do I want to create. And because that's how I chose to figure out who I am as a person, when I had a baby, those two things sort of clashed. So when I had a baby, I wasn't prepared for just my child. there was like this whole other element of me where my whole life I was trying to be something that I've worked up to be, and suddenly now I had to just kind of let that element, that aspect of me sit and like relax a bit. And that was really hard. That was really challenging to experience. I think another thing that was really hard for me is just seeing my colleagues, especially like colleagues that I went to school with or colleagues that I know professionally, just continue to create and like make all these amazing, beautiful things, especially in social media when they're sharing those types of things. It made me pause a lot, right? Of just right now in my life, I just have to like pause right now because I'm raising a human being and I can't quite do what all of these other people that I'm seeing on social media are doing, because my priority is my child. And after my child goes to sleep, then I can work on what I need to work on. But even that became challenging because sometimes my child wouldn't sleep very well. So I would get like 4 hours of sleep and try to function with them throughout the day, and then try to work when they finally go to bed at night, and I would be exhausted. I'd say as time went on and I continued to feel these things, some things that I would really recommend for somebody that's experiencing something similar to this would be to have those conversations with your partner or with your village. That was one of the ways that I was able to figure out how to sort of find myself again. I had to specifically talk to my husband about, in the beginning, just I think I need time for myself. Either it be showering or working out or going for walks or runs by myself. Like, I told him I just need like me time. Either like it could be the simplest thing. I just need me time to like not always be having the baby attached to my hip. And I noticed those little things would help me kind of like just feel like myself again. Even just like 20 minutes of just me time or catching up on sleep, like that was also beneficial. But like, I remember one of my like goals is to be able to just wear some of my favorite pieces of clothing again. Like that was such a big win for me. And to be able to wear nice, like just like some of my nice pieces again, and to feel pretty and to feel like, before I had my baby, like fashion was important to me, and being pregnant and figuring out what my new body was challenging. And then after having my baby, just learning my new body was also a challenge. So figuring out a schedule that works for you and your village. So like, what I mean by that is, for a while, I was struggling with trying to figure out how to work and take care of my child. My days would be so focused on raising my child, and that by the time that my baby would go to sleep, I would just be exhausted and I wouldn't be able to get very much work done. Or by the time my baby would go to sleep, I would just want to relax and spend time with my partner, you know? Like, I wanted to just be normal like everybody else. What ended up happening was we would bring on a babysitter when I would have work. That way I wouldn't have to stay up so late. But eventually we even stopped working with the babysitter because I realized that if my husband could watch the baby as soon as he came home from work, and I could start work from like 5 till 10, that was almost more beneficial, because for some reason my creative brain turns on at night instead of during the day. But one of the great things that has been helping us a lot is being able to drop our baby off at grandma's house. And that has been a huge lifesaver. She'll be able to take him maybe once a week, and that's almost enough for us because they get bonding time. And when she's with our baby, I'm able to kind of just do me and create or like work with clients, and that's that's been amazing. Like, that's been more than enough for me. Bringing you back to you is so important. Figuring out that, like, you matter too is so important. And it's not saying that, like, you should be selfish or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you aren't prioritizing yourself and taking care of yourself and, like, doing things that you also enjoy, it's so easy to get lost and to feel lost because it's such a busy time. Like, one of my friends said it really well. The days are really long, but the time goes by fast, and you're just experiencing so many emotions. So whatever you need for yourself, there's my baby. So this other one that really helped me find myself again, which you're gonna think is weird, is showering and being able to just take care of myself. And meaning, like, makeup or clipping my nails or blow drying my hair. Like, wow. I struggle with showering while taking care of my child because sleep deprivation, it's either you choose to get rest or you choose to be clean, and I chose to get rest. And I'm sure other mamas or dads know this feeling, but, like, I would have to, like, talk with my partner about making sure I could shower. Otherwise, I could not remember when I last showered, and it was not pretty. Like, I'm glad my baby isn't picky yet on smells, because if they were, they would probably not even want them near them, but that wasn't the priority, right? The priority is making sure that my child is taken care of and my child is safe and healthy, and I just kind of put myself last. But as time went on and as my baby's getting bigger, I started realizing, like, oh, I need to also take care of myself so that I feel good, because if I feel good, my baby will even be better. Another example of how I was able to kind of, like, find little bits of myself was being able to drink coffee again. And, like, you don't understand how big of an impact that made on me because I was breastfeeding. Moms who breastfeed know, like, your diet plays such a huge role on your baby, because it's like what you're eating impacts the baby as well. So it's like you have to be super careful about what you're putting into your body. But coffee was one of them. I was drinking little bits of it per day because that's okay. But when I finally stopped breastfeeding and was able to have, like, a cup or, like, a cup and a half or two, like, that helped my creativity again. Like, that helped my brain to just, it made those gears turn, and it felt great. Like, I was just so excited to be able to just create again, and to be able to think clearly again, to be able to just be productive. Like, I think productivity was such an important thing for me, and I had forgotten that because I was so focused on my child. So when I was able to figure out that productivity was important for me as an individual, as a working individual, like, that was a big win. Going on walks, runs, working out, like, that was also important to me. Me just strengthening my body and, like, spending that time helped a lot. And, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, 5 minutes a week. Like, if I could do 5 minutes a week, like, that would make me feel so good. It was just, like, feeling my body come back to its, like, strength, and, like, being able to connect my brain and my body to, like, work together as one. Like, that was a win for me. I was so used to my body, right? I was with my body for so many years through ups and downs together, right? Like, high school, college, all of that, freshman 15, freshman 30. And how you care for your body, like, you learn how your body works. And I just kind of knew, like, the ins and out of my body, but when I became pregnant, I didn't know my body anymore. And then when I gave birth to my baby, I just didn't know how it worked, because it was new. it grew a baby and I had never experienced it before and I just didn't know how to work with it. So like going on these little workouts, these little runs, these little stretches that I would do really helped me slowly find myself again. So another one that I noticed that was starting to make me kind of feel like myself again was investing in myself through self-development. So like finding classes that were of interest for me and that I knew would help strengthen my career. I've noticed that when I'm in these classes, just being able to use my brain again to learn has been extremely beneficial, and it just makes me feel again productive and useful, and it just makes me feel good. And I hope you are able to also find classes or some sort of self-development that'll make you also feel good, because I think that's really key. And one of the last things that I noticed that was helping me find my way back to like who I want to be was making time and catching up with some of my girlfriends and having that girl time, even if it was just a couple hours at a coffee shop. Like I would feel so whole after catching up and just seeing what's going on in their world, sharing what's been going on with my world, having reality checks with my girlfriends of just, how come you never told me about this about kids, and did you ever experience that, and laughing and just sharing like all of it, right? Like that helped me just feel like such a human being. And my partner did a great job at encouraging those. I don't go on them very much just because I don't feel like I need them too much, but when I do, little bits of me definitely come back. And the last one, but not least, which I feel like I've mentioned kind of all over the place, is to remember to love yourself, to make sure that you truly know that at the core of everything, if you aren't taken care of, you're not going to be able to take care of everybody else. So try to make sure that you take care of yourself or make decisions that help you, either being your emotional, spiritual, or physical health, to help you be able to give back to your baby or your family. Again, like you can't take care of others until you take care of yourself. And moms, especially, like we work so hard and we deserve these little breaks where it's like we love on ourselves. Okay, I am done venting to everybody, and I wanted to share with you all that for the next 3 episodes, I wanted to chat with 3 other moms and hear about their journeys with just motherhood, right? But like specifically how they were able to refine themselves. And I'm sure through these conversations, you're going to be able to resonate with something. And I want you to also share with me, right? Like what resonates with you, or like what experience are you going through, or what phase are you currently in? Also, like I've heard this multiple times, but like when women talk to their friends, that reduces stress. And every time I talk to my group of friends, I just feel amazing after. And so I feel really lucky that I'm going to be able to capture these on video and then also share them on this platform for other people to watch and see and experience. So I'm so excited for you guys to also hear these conversations and like know that you're not alone, because I've definitely felt like I'm alone, but the more I'm talking to other moms and other parents, the more I'm realizing like it's all very similar. We're just all navigating it in our own ways. And I think it's important that we share those different alternative ways and know that like there's so many different ways to get back to where we want to be. Please feel free to comment below and tell me like what resonated with you in this episode. How do you take care of yourself while raising your little ones? How do you balance your children, your career, and time for yourself? Thank you so much for joining me today on After the Baby Sleeps. I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.